Welcome to Build. How are you doing, Ghastly?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
You were in Miami recently, weren't you?
Yes.
So what do you think of this lovely monsoon for you here?
This is awesome.
This is the cover of your new music, but outside the monsoon is falling.
Oh, the
So
monsoon.
it's
this,
a
this,
big
this,
transition
this
for
weather.
Miami, yeah.
It's fantastic.
You like it?
I love rainy weather. I'm all about it.
Good. You should be in New York more often then.
I wish I
April
was.
showers bring May flowers, hence why these lovely flowers are now behind you.
You really
we have it all
thought
set up
about
for you
me.
here.
Wow.
We really
Thank
do.
you.
It's very special to have you here.
Yeah, definitely excited. Very excited.
So let's just go back to the very beginning. Your story is super interesting. I did a bit of reading on it. And it's kind of like you put it all in, you went, thought about what you want, and you really have this attitude where you put your mind to it and go and get it. So tell us a bit about how you got started in music in general, not just as a DJ.
Just music in general?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that would have to go all the way back to listening to the Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Okay.
That shit was fire.
As you would expect. Could have guessed it.
And I don't know, I've just always loved music. I think it was when I was about 12 when my brother showed me the guitar and just showed me how to just play strings. And I was just totally blown away that he was able to just press strings on a piece of wood and make me feel emotions. So I thought that was really incredible.
What age were you then, do you think?
I was 12.
Okay.
And then I remember when one day he was trying to get me into metal music, and my parents, they took all of his metal CDs and they destroyed them, like all of his AC/DC, Megadeth, Metallica. They destroyed them, they broke them, they threw them in the garbage. And when I saw them in the garbage, it was really symbolic to me. I was like, wow, if music can make people freak out that much, then this is something really powerful. This is something that can really change people.
And so timeline-wise, what age were you at this stage? Still 12 or were you a bit
about
older?
12, 13.
A lot happened at this age.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
terms of the music world.
Yeah. But then, and then I joined a metal band, and then I was screaming in a microphone for about 4 years, traveling in a van and a trailer. It was like really low key. We were making like $200 a gig. And we were lucky to get pizza afterward.
Yeah.
And then one day I realized, oh, yeah, I want to make a living one day. And this isn't going to work. So I eventually quit the band, and I fell in love with dance music and just the way that things were being done as far as producers, because when I was hearing music on the radio, I'd always hear music and I'd think like, how are these beats coming together? I used to think there was people in there literally playing the beats on like keyboards, like,
Yeah.
and I thought that's how they did it. And then I found out, oh, no, you can just draw in the damn notes. And that's really cool because that makes my life a lot easier. And then I just went full into it. And then I just decided to pack up everything I had and move to LA and live out of a van for the first 3 months on Venice Beach. And I think that was where I was like, okay, now I'm either in it to win this or lose big time and make a total ass of myself.
So stop just there. So you lived in Arizona, right? On a farm in Arizona. And then you decided one day, that's it. I'm going to go to LA, give it everything I have. I have this van, whatever money you had in your pocket, and off you went.
Yeah, I was very tired of. I love goat farming, and I love.
You actually do the goat farming.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I know how to make goat cheese. I can make goat
Nice.
cheese if you give me the right kind of equipment. I can make goat cheese
And
right now.
it is the superior cheese.
It is the superior
Yes.
cheese. Do not be afraid. Goat cheese is delicious as long as I make it or my parents make it. But yeah, that was that. I couldn't do it anymore. I had that. Everyone has something in their life that they know they were put on this earth to do. And some people choose to ignore it, and then they get, a job over at Walgreens as a cashier. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you should always listen to that part of you that's like, hey, man, you got something else for you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so I threw all my shit in a van and just head to Venice Beach. And slowly but surely, I found one ladder rung would show up, and then I climbed the next and the next and the next. I didn't know anyone out there. So when one day I wake up and I have an email, someone saying, hey, I'd like to manage you. I like what you're doing with your music. And then about a couple months later, I have Ausla, Skrillex's label, hit me up saying, hey, we love your music. We want to sign some of it. It was really surreal.
So what was the first step, though? So you get there in your van. Who was the first person you met that maybe caused a knock-on effect to these opportunities starting to open? Because you knew no one. So
I didn't know.
You got out of the van one day, walked along the beach, and just started talking to people.
Well,
and you met the right person.
If I go all the way back to the first person to make it all possible, it's hard to credit them entirely because it was from them that I met this person next. So if we go all the way back, it was this random model who invited me to a house party who
I
can't remember her name. I still can't remember her name right now. I think it was Anastasia. And she one day she heard my music and she sent it to her manager, who was also a music manager, and then he emailed me, and then things just started moving forward from there. Yeah.
And so your parents, just to rewind to the day when they smashed all the records, your brother's records. So were they supportive of you saying, "Hey, I want to do music as my livelihood," or how do they feel about that?
Well, when I was doing the death metal band thing, they weren't all that stoked because the one show that they came to was at a venue called Metal Devastation, and the decor was literally a pentagram with a woman having an upside-down cross shoved up her you-know-what. And they were really not stoked on it.
You just don't understand, Mom and Dad. Let me
exactly.
It's art.
You don't get it, Mom and Dad. I'm trying to scream my emotions up here. They're like, you're worshiping Satan. We're not down. So that didn't really work out for them. They weren't into it. But when I said, oh, well, I got this new stuff, and they're like, okay. I see it. I see the appeal. They can mess with the whole Ponce Katze.
Okay.
But when I said, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to quit the cheese business, throw all my shit in a van, move to Venice Beach, and hopefully make it as a superstar DJ, they were like, good luck. We are not funding this. So
they still said good luck.
They said good luck. but they weren't going to give me any money. So I had to go out there. First thing I did was get a job at American Apparel, who fired me when they found out I was living in a van.
How dare they?
Yeah.
Why? How did that go down?
Oh, I believe
Look who's having the last laugh now. American Apparel has now
Trust me,
collaborated.
I enjoy
You're
it very
here
much.
on AOL Build.
I think their last words were, we're sorry, we can't have anyone working on our floor who is homeless. And I was like, oh, isn't that what people yell at homeless people all the time? Get a job. Got a job. Get out of here. Whatever.
So what was your reaction? You just took it?
Oh, yeah. What am I going to do? I could have gone into a lawsuit and spent money that I didn't have, and them probably beat me because they have lawyers I don't. Or I could just get another job and keep going. And that's what I did.
And so paint the picture of that scene at the start. So you're there and it's all new and you're getting part-time job. Is it just part-time jobs? Or are they full-time jobs? And are you like DJing in different places at nighttime? How does it start?
How does it start? How do you begin? For me,
because you've been in a band before, so you had the hustle from the beginnings of being in a band, and then now it's the hustle from the beginnings of being a DJ. So what was the difference and how?
Very true. Yeah, I guess the differences were a lot of it was, just like begging to play and begging to open shows, and then like, hey, I got music that I actually write, and I'm a decent DJ, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, okay, I guess maybe we'll let you open on our Wednesday night, stuff like that. But, you got to build your repertoire every single step of the way. There is no escalator on the staircase. You have to take every step, Mm-hmm. And so I just went with the throws, took the punches, and gave them back where I could, and just kept on moving forward. I was never expecting someone to hand it to me. That's not how my life, or most people who I'm sure will agree, life doesn't always just hand you what you want. And in fact, 99% of us aren't Justin Bieber, who wake up one day and they're YouTube superstars all the way to the world's biggest superstar.
He was there at the beginning, though.
He was working. He was messing around on YouTube, but he woke up one day and he's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I'm a superstar now.
Yeah.
That's not how it works out for everybody. Most people, I still personally feel that I still have a very, very, very long road ahead of me. I still have so many people I want to touch with my music and so many things that I want to do with it. There's literally pages of ideas, and so no matter how far you are in your career, I feel like it's always good to have the feeling that you're still beginning, you know?
Then you'll only get better and better and better.
Your best is never your best. It's only your best at that time.
See, you're great for the quotes. You also tweeted something like 11 hours ago. I just read it in the taxi here. And it was like something like, if what you're doing doesn't scare you. Do you remember your tweet?
If your goals aren't big enough to scare you, then if your goals don't scare you, not only are they not big enough, but your life is severely lacking in the YOLO department. I believe is what I said.
See? You could do a book on these quotes.
Hey, maybe one day I'll make a coffee table book when I'm 55, and because no one wants to see a 55-year-old up there. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
How old is David Guetta now, though?
I don't know how old he is. I'm not going to comment. I mean, everyone keeps going as long as they want to. Yeah, he's definitely
longevity.
Oh yeah.
And in terms of that, like, you said at the very beginning then, like, Skrillex came and he heard some of your music and he wants to sign you to his label.
Mm-hmm.
And then is there more of a camaraderie, do you think, amongst the electronic music scene than there is just the general music scene?
How do you mean camaraderie?
Camaraderie in, like, hearing each other's music and wanting to collaborate and wanting to sign each other and, like, doing sets together and, like, helping each other out. Do you think it exists more so amongst the electronic music scene versus just generic music?
Yeah, I think to a degree as long as we're referencing electronic music and not necessarily if we're referencing things like metal bands. I mean, it's very, very, very rare that you see metal bands collab on a song. Yeah. But it's almost every day that you see producers collab because it's one brain, two brain making one song instead of 5 brains and 6 brains coming together. I mean, if you have 2 drummers at the same time and 5 guitarists, you know, it gets kind of hectic.
You'd have to be a bit more selective.
My arpeggio's way sicker.
You've auditioned for each other's songs. It's true, it go down like that.
So there's definitely a lot of camaraderie, and it's a lot of when a great producer sees talent in another producer, he or she is more than happy to put a hand out and say, I want to show people how good you are. And I've done that with many, many producers, and many producers have done that with me. It's a very beautiful community once you get your first step into it.
And so did Skrillex sign you to Elsa, or he started working with you under his label?
He started working with me under his label, and then I signed a deal for a while, did the deal, and now I'm currently just releasing music on my own time and my own preference, which is in my personal opinion, a very, very enjoyable way to release music because I'm not on anyone else's time restriction. I get to do anything I want. Like for this song, for We Might Fall, this is not like anything else that I've ever written. And the artwork is totally driven away from what most people know me as. Most people know me as like a Pokemon, dubstep, EDM bro DJ. And this isn't who I am as a person. This is how I was labeled by the dance music community on my uprising because they needed to connect with me in some way, and that's how they saw it. But now that I've evolved into, no pun intended, evolved into who I really am. Now,
last year must have been a big hit for you with that Pokemon Rebirth as well.
It worked.
Really got real fashionable.
When Pokemon Go came out, I was stoked. I was like, yes, I'm in this.
I'm on the rise.
But you know, I'm here to create art, not be a gimmick.
Yeah.
And so this is my first instance of that, and it's not aggressive, it's not angry. The lyrics are meaningful, and the progressions are, you know, way more. There's a lot more effort put into the beauty of the song instead of just hype. You know. Hype is fun, but I don't want to force people to constantly 3, 2, 1, jump. Everybody do this. I feel like a song shouldn't tell people what to do all the time.
Yeah.
You know, tonight's the best night of your life. It's like you don't get to decide that. Yeah.
So what's the message of this song, and how did the collaboration with Matthew come about?
The message of this song, well, this actually came from, I originally remixed Jimmy Eat World, Sweetness, Jimmy Eat World was not stoked. I guess they don't really like EDM all that much. so
It's a compliment.
that's what a remix is. It's one artist tipping their hat to another artist, but I don't know if they understand that concept. So whatever. So with this, I reverted back, and Matthew Koma hit me up randomly, serendipitously, quite frankly. He hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, man, you got any music lately that you would possibly want vocals on?" I'm like, "Yeah, as of like 30 minutes ago, I do." And so he sent me these lyrics that were really, really, really powerful. And I interpret them as someone who's in love with someone but knows that they're bad for them. And
like slow dancing in a burning room. John Mayer.
Yeah, exactly,
That hits me
exactly.
like that.
It's a very relatable topic that I feel like anyone in this room can agree that there's people that you love that are bad for you sometimes. And We Might Fall is all about, I think the first line is, "Could you come a little closer, keep your distance? I've been thinking it over, I'm terrified." And blah, 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 blah. I'm not here to do a poem reciting, but it's a very powerful song that I think is going to express the future of what I'm going to be creating for quite a while.
And would you ever consider doing vocals yourself?
Yeah,
Do you?
Yeah, I do. In some of my tracks, you can't really tell because I add snippets and I chop it up and I transpose it, which is essentially making it go from la 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 to la 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 and shit like that. And but every time I'm like singing just randomly, people are like, "Why don't you sing on your tracks, bro?" And I'm like, "'Cause I'm super shy, bro." But yeah, I don't know I haven't sang on my tracks like fully yet, but in due time.
If you think about it, like a few years ago, again, we're always talking about pre-social media, this and that, and it is the time that's in it. Now, with all the Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and the likes, with DJs before all that, it was more about the craft of the song, and it wasn't really the hype around, like, so-and-so and the way they appeared and the whole kind of image that they had. So do you enjoy that side of things, or is there any part of that pressure that you don't like? Because I saw you Instagrammed a picture recently about your arms, and it's all about like body positivity.
Yes.
Does it get to be too much sometimes?
Are you? And let me just make sure I'm understanding your question. Are you talking about branding or being in the public eye?
Being in the limelight, public
Being
eye.
in the limelight is it can definitely get really, really, really hectic. Sometimes people say some really mean shit out there. They are very, very vehement and very, very rude. And if you let it get to you, it can really ruin you as a person. To know that there's so many people who just want to come in one day and just say something very, very harsh and negative about you that have never met you before. But then you always have to remember that you don't know them and they don't know you. And to take criticism from someone who doesn't know you on a personal level. You don't like my music? That's fine. Not everyone likes Mexican food. I mean, even my girlfriend doesn't like Mexican food. And it blows me away every day. I don't know why you can't like that. But, there are people out there who, no matter how great you are, they will hate it. You could write the best song in the world, and there will be an entire community of people who spend nothing but their time hating it. And this is just how people are. And once you come to terms with that, criticism means nothing, because you're not here to take the criticism. Leave that to them. You're here to create the art. And for those who it affects positively, which is on a much greater scale, that's where I find my peace, and that's where I find my solace. I've developed a very strong hater blocker, and I'm just not into listening to what people have to say if it's going to divert me from creating something new or something beautiful.
And how do you gain wisdom like that? Like, did it take you going through stuff and like dealing with it to come out, or did you always have that kind of positive outlook?
I think it all starts at raising. I give a lot of props to my parents because they put me to work on our dairy farm when I was about 7. I was doing tour guides at 7. I was feeding cattle at 8. And I was milking at 9, and I was just always working as a kid. I even started a couple businesses on the farm without telling them. I would
like what?
Like we had this hairless dog, And, hairless dog, it's like, oh, weird, cool. But I was like, all right. So I put I put hay bales around it, and I put my hairless dog in the middle. And at 8 years old, I'm like, $5, you can pet my hairless dog. $5, $5. I'm charging people to pet my dog.
Entrepreneur, the youngest in Arizona.
I made like $350 one day. And yeah, people were paying good money to pet my dog. And my parents are like, where'd you get this money? I'm like, oh, just started a hairless dog petting business.
Why didn't you guys think of this sooner? Come on, Mom and Dad.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, we only have a few more questions left. But in terms of think about the chain smokers, for example, like monopolizing the charts in mainstream music. So what do you think about the electronic music scene now, and is it becoming increasingly more mainstream, and is that a good thing? Is it necessary?
It is absolutely mainstream now. It was once this dark thing that happened far away in this vibrating warehouse that you wondered what was going on, and now it's literally on TV all the time, on the radio all the time. I think out of the top 40 Billboard, I think about eight or nine of them are all DJ EDM producers, as most would reference them as, and that's moving forward to me, because that means people are accepting new creativity and new types of music are being accepted as mainstream instead of the same garbage that was being chopped up and regurgitated for so long. And now creativity is being excelled to a completely new level, where artists like Jack U, Martin Garrix, you name them, all of them are in these charts now, who, if someone wants to go and see them live, is going to have a hell of an experience, because this is not just going to sit down in an auditorium where Lady Gaga comes out and does this magnificent show. This is going into a field of humans where you have no idea what could happen. You're going to have an insane experience, and it's going to leave you breathless at the end of it, because that's how I even got into all this, was being in the audience. You go out there and just look up, and it's just the marvel of the production and everything that's put into it just blows you away. And the fact that is now mainstream makes me so happy, because it's creativity moving forward.
And so many more people will experience it.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And speaking of the masses in the audience, you're tonight at Webster Hall. And are you currently on tour? Where else can people see you?
I actually just got off of a very, very long tour that lasted about 9 or 10 months.
Okay, so you're going to take a nap?
After Webster Hall. Well, actually, I have to go to Life in Color tomorrow, which with, I think it's Zed's Dead, which is going to be about 15,000 people packed into one room. But after that, I will take a nap.
Nice.
But tonight at Webster should be extremely legendary, because I've always loved Webster Hall. I've always thought it'd be an incredible thing to headline there one day. And then one day I see my name on the flyer to headline Girls and Boys, Boys and Girls. And I'm like, cool, I'm down.
Promise to myself, pat on my own back. I think we have some questions now from the audience.
Happily.
Hey, Ghastly, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
What do you think sets you apart from other DJs?
It's hard for me to say that. I guess that's more your interpretation, and is the crucial thing. But if I had to say, I guess I'm a little bit more open about my entire life than most DJs will. Most DJs like to keep their personal life hidden, and their background and where they came from. They like to be this elusive figure that, like, oh, who are they? Are they even human? But I like to accentuate that I am very human, and I did have my hard times, my transgressions, and my tribulations to get to this point. And I like to tell and stand for the idea that literally anyone can do literally anything, because I was just a random po' boy from fucking Phoenix, Arizona, living on a farm, who just had an idea one day. And as long as you believe in that idea more than anything else, I promise you something will come of it. And that's what I'm here for.
Hey, how are you?
Doing quite well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. And I'm here for quite a reason. I have a land to build a venue to pour house music on top of so many things. And from the city where I come from, they don't support me from playing it. And they always tell me, go to New York, that's where you go to school for it. So it's like I was blessed to be in this place to actually put it together. And so many producers and DJs has influenced me for so many things. And I'm in the path to actually put it together with so many musicians to put creativity on top. And I was on AOL.com last night, and when I seen you, I said I had to come and talk to you about it. And it's a historical place in this country, and God bless me to collaborate with so many art. And I'm asking you if you want to collaborate with me to put it together.
Perfect audience Q&A.
Definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, we can always talk about something like that. Most inquiries about venues and putting me on the show are done with my booking agency and my management as well. I can obviously say, hey, I like this idea, but they ultimately make the decisions because they are the gears that turn the machine that is my life. So, dude, but more than anything, I totally feel you. That's awesome. Just keep working hard, man. If you got a dream in your heart, you want to build that venue and you want to do that house music, there's no one who's going to stop you except you. I promise you. There's going to be obstacles, but it's your job to jump over them. Thank you.
Motivational speaker here, Ghastly. I feel like everyone should ask a question so they can be like built up and feel great about themselves after. We've one more.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm super impressed that you can make goat cheese. 'Cause I like
So am I.
Like, I really am enamored with that.
Well, I'm holding on to it and I'm making sure the whole world knows it. So if electricity goes out and we have a world apocalypse and we start resorting to cannibalism, at least they won't kill me because I can make cheese, and cheese tastes way better on a person burger than a guy who's a DJ.
And you can call it Ghastly Goat's Cheese. It's like perfect branding.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you don't really want to try it, but you kind of have to because the name.
But not about goat cheese.
You brought it up.
I was wondering, what do you think your greatest accomplishment in your career is thus far?
And that's a big question, but I mean, I think my greatest accomplishment was I always wanted to hear my parents say they were proud of me, so I checked that one. And but aside from that, I think it's just a massive amount of love and messages that I've received from people who have gone through really hard times, and I've had people reach out to me and they said, you know, I was on the verge of committing suicide last night, and my Spotify playlist was playing and your song came on, and something about it made me completely realign the way I thought about my life, and I'm still alive right now because of something that you created, so thank you. And that is something that blows me away, because that's just the one person who spoke out. There's no way any artist could ever know the full effect that they have on people in the world, because how many times have you had a song come on and it changes the way your day goes? You don't tell the artist every time, and even if you do, there's a small chance they'll see it because they're constantly flooded with messages. So to not know the full extent of the positivity that I'm putting in the world, that is my greatest achievement, because I'm not a politician, and I'm not even a civil rights activist. I'm just an artist, and the world needs good, and I'm just doing good where I can by creating art that makes people's lives better.
Unsung heroes of the world. Well, thank you so much on that note. It was great to have you.
Thank you. It was
and
great.
I loved all these answers. Were fantastic, and best of luck with next year.
Thank you guys so much. Seriously.